Hello everyone and welcome to reading. Today we are doing vocabulary. You should have already went and looked at your vocab words for this week. If not, go back and look at those. You need to know what the words are before you're able to complete the activities. Otherwise you are going to be very confused. So go back and look at those, and then if you are ready, continue here. So for slide 11, we are going to be looking at analogies. And if you remember, analogies are comparisons between two things. An analogy is something that uses one word to help you understand another. So the instructions say, use the words in the box. Those words in the box are our vocab words to finish each analogy. In an analogy, the symbol colon means is to, and the symbol with the double colon means as. So A is to B as, C is to D. So just for a couple of non-vocab examples, if I said cookie dough is to ice cream as Pepsi is to soda, that's an analogy because cookie dough is a type of ice cream, right? So I said cookie dough is to ice cream, and then Pepsi is a type of soda as Pepsi is to soda. I'm comparing those things, and each of those comparisons is similar. They're both a type of the second thing. So on this vocab sheet, you're going to get the first comparison and then half of the second one. And you have to fill it in with the correct vocab word that makes sense. So in that example, the cookie dough and the Pepsi, that was a comparison of similar things. There can also be comparisons of things that are opposites or antonyms. So if I said night is today as happy is to blank, what could you put there? Night is today. So night is the opposite of day. As happy is to blank. What's the opposite of happy? You could probably say sad or mad or angry or something like that. It has to be the opposite though, because the first comparison was an opposite. So we'll do some of these together and I'll leave some for you to do on your own. But this is a really good practice with your words because not only do you have to know what the definition of your word is, but you have to actually understand what the word means and how you could use it in a context. So the first one says, barn is to loft as house is to blank. So first, the first thing you have to do is figure out what the relationship between the two words in the first analogy is. So the first analogy is barn to loft. So barn is to loft. Well, if you don't know what a loft is a risen up area inside of a barn or a shed or something like that where you can go up and sit into it. It's like a little nook. You may have heard of loft beds. Those are like raised up off the ground. So we're looking at a barn, so a bigger place, and then the loft is the smaller raised place. So then we're trying to find a word from our vocab list that is equal to that when we're comparing a house to something. Well, if you need to, you can go through your words. So this first word, it says alcove. And you should remember then, alcove is a small space set back in a wall or room. That sounds pretty similar to how I described what was it? Blanking on the word. That's similar to how I described the loft to the barn, right? So an alcove is very similar to that. We got lucky, the first one happened to be the first answer here, but you would type in for number one, alcove. What about the next one? It says cool is to cold as change is to blank. So first off, let's look at the first analogy. Cool is to cold. Those mean pretty much the same thing, right? Cool and cold. It's a little cool in here, it's really cold in here. I would say the only difference is cold is like a more extreme version of cool, right? Cool is like, oh, it's a little chilly. Cold is, ooh, I'm cold. So we're going to look for a comparison of something that is the same as change, but maybe a little more extreme. So what is something that is our vocab word and that is an example of extreme change. Give you a second. Yes, you in the back. What did you say? Upheaval? Yes. How did you know? Oh, you're so smart. Upheaval is a major or sudden change. So a major change. So that is like the more extreme version of just change. So the second one would be upheaval. We'll do a couple more together, and then I'm going to let you do the rest on your own. Also, just a little hint, each word is only used once on the upper half. So you can always use process of elimination to narrow down your choices. Next one is computer is to business as dishes are to blank. So computer is to business. A computer is something that is used in a business, right? So if you go to a business or a company, you'll see people using computers. Dishes are used where or in what? Well, dishes are something you use at home. There's something that maybe you have chores, you have to go do the dishes, that's a chore. So if I was looking for somewhere where you would be doing dishes, I would say that would be in a domestic setting, or domestic related to family or life at home. So domestic would be that comparison. The next one is lake is to swimming as market is to blank. Okay, so what is the relationship between lake and swimming? A lake is somewhere you can go swimming, right? So a market is somewhere you can what? What can you do in a market? If you can swim in a lake, what can you do in a market? Well, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to the market, it's to buy things. And what is buying things? That is commerce. Commerce is our vocab word that means buying and selling of products to make money. So that would be what is happening in a market. Do you see how these analogies are similar to the first one? So the second one that you're filling in should line up with the first one. I'm going to leave the last few for you. And then at the bottom, it says to write 3 analogies of your own. So don't just copy one of the ones above. Come up with your own analogy and use a vocab word from the box above. So you can use one of the vocab words you've already used, but you need to make your own analogy. So maybe you were comparing something that is exotic to something that is rare, because exotic things are very rare. And then you compared it to a diamond in the rough. That's a rare thing. So I will give you time to work on that now. I hope you guys have a great day. If you need help with this, reach out to your teacher or myself. Have a great day. Bye.